students still manage to surprise, which is the good news. So hopefully folks may have some good news stories as our last comment. But any other questions from the audience? I know Mr. Holland he had a second one. Please, yes.
I'm going to let you off easy. I'm Susan Fuller. I am curious to know if there's any plan to bring cursive writing back. There you go.
Okay, I have to do a quick disclosure here. My staff is shaking their head in the back because with me, I had to learn how to type because I can't write I can't print, much less cursive, but I know that they would love it if I actually had ever learned. So when do we think cursive might be coming back?
Here's what I will say. I think technology has changed that conversation. When you look and go into kindergarten and they're using iPads and learning how to type, the world of paper is becoming less. And so I think that's the conversation that we continue to have of how does the technology world change a little bit of that as well. Still wanting kids to be able to write a letter, write a thank you note. I think those are important pieces that we talk about all the time, but the lens of technology continues to change our structure.
So to paraphrase, Skynet killed cursive. Is that what
you said it.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping that it comes back too, because though I can't write it, I can read it. So that's helpful. So we're going to start at the end and work our way back. Is there any closing comments you'd like to make, or any good news stories? And I have a feeling that one of you, before you get to me, will actually steal the one I want to talk about. But any good news stories?
Well, despite what I've said about class size and workload, both my wife and I are just really, really impressed with the quality of teachers that our son has had, hands down. And so that's my good news part, really. There's just really a good group of people out there doing their level best to give our kids a good education. They just need more support.
Well, I have two good news stories, and one has to do with new teachers. When I started teaching at Whitaker Middle School in Kaiser in 1971, I was, and I will say literally, thrown to the wolves. I was put in a trailer even back then, with some special needs students, and I had no books, no chalk, no supplies, nothing, and I was just told to borrow a football from the PE people and take them out and play football with them. I got no support at all from anybody, and it was awful, and I came home every day crying. And I have a daughter now who is a new teacher, and she has a coach, she has a mentor, she has people who are in her department who are coming in every day, making sure that she is getting the help she needs with her 38 kids in her freshman English class and with her yearbook. And I just think that's really a wonderful thing that's happening, is that there's a lot of help for new teachers. I hope that will help with the retention of new teachers. And the other thing that I want to say is, I think students have a lot of wonderful opportunities, like you see in the news about the science projects and the robotics coming out of schools like McKay High School. And of course, I'm just bursting with pride. The theater and the music departments in our high schools are wonderful, and I specifically wanted to speak to something that happened this last summer in Central High School. Right here in this community, there was a week-long theater camp that was put on by the Thespian Club, not the Thespian Advisor, but the Thespian Club. And this was a group of high school students who invited, gosh, I don't know, there must have been 60 to 80 little kids. I mean, they were from 4 on up, through 5th grade or something, and they put on, in 1 week's time, they put on 4 little plays, and it was amazing. And I think the leadership shown with the kids who put on the camp, and then the kids who actually got to participate in it, is evident that there are just wonderful things happening in our schools today. And so I'm really pleased to be able to report that my grandchildren are going to benefit from that. Thank you.
So I will tell you, as I being here only 6 months, one of the things when I was meeting with people, that the word that was described for this area is, there's this gem of a school district called Central. Yeah. And now that I've been here for 6 months and really been in schools for 2 months, I walk schools Wednesdays and Fridays, really getting to connect with teachers and our students. I have gem of teachers. I have gems of administrators, and I have lots of gems in students. I have the gems of the opportunity already in partnership with the university here, as well as Chemeketa, with some great things. That's part of the reason I came here, because of the alignment that is already here, because we already are doing great things here and want to continue to do that. So that's what I'm going to say. There's this, we are a gem. This is a gem of an area, especially when you focus on education. And then the other thing I would just tout is I have a fantastic leadership group in Central High School. They put out just an amazing video called Alone. If you haven't seen it, focused really on supports for mental health for students. Just so proud. I saw it as I was transitioning in last spring, and to see the final project, and MindNet has it up on their website right on the front page, is truly one of the highlights so far in my short time here. So I'm very proud of our students here in the Central School District.
So probably a couple things. So I'm not sure if we've tapped into Central yet with this, but when I became president 3 years ago, and when Christy Perry became superintendent, we started working with WU as well, and we created a bilingual education program for bilingual teachers. And I'm really thrilled to say that that after that 3 years, we're starting to see some promise from that. I'm not even sure how many we have at WU. We know we have at least 36 in the Woodburn area right now that are in this program. And so I think that what we're doing there is we're really making a difference, again, for young people to have more teachers in our schools, because there's shortages, and I'm really proud of that effort that we've done in a partnership to try to make sure that we're all working with the community. It's about that collective impact that can happen. The other things that we're doing at Chemeketa is really trying to tap into the affordability, and we have something called the Chemeketa Press, where we have our faculty and our students working together to create low-cost textbooks and materials, and we've already saved students about $600,000 on that. And when I mean low cost, I'm talking that it's most of the texts that we produce are free or $40 or less. And then we also have, with all of our faculty working with our bookstore, 60% of the materials for the courses in Chemeketa now are under $100. So call it the 60% under 100. And so we're proud of all of that, because what we know is by saving students money on textbooks and materials, what they can do is they have the money for food, for rent, for transportation. Maybe they don't have to work a few more hours. Maybe they can be with their families, and maybe they can spend more time studying. So I'll talk about those, and then I guess I'll just say one more thing, since I'm almost the last word. I'm taking all your time.
No,
So, the other thing I'm proud of, and we don't get a lot of press on this, but Chemeketa was recognized to be for the Aspen Award of Excellence. And so we are one of 150 colleges nationally out of almost 1,000 community colleges that had the privilege, if you want to call that, the privilege to apply for the Aspen Award. And what will happen is we submitted a lot of information to the Aspen Institute, and they will be looking at our information over the next 6 months, and they'll decide whether we get to be one of the 10 finalists, and if we're a finalist, they'll visit, we'll submit some more information. But the really cool thing is that if you're actually the winner, you get $1 million. And so that's based, the reason that we receive this is because of our work with our retention, with our graduation rate, with the credentials of our students, and then also in the area of equity. And it's not anything that we applied for in the beginning. You get recognized first, then they ask if you'd like to apply for it. So I'm really proud of our college for that work.
All right. Well, I get to brag on a couple of different folks in the time I have before I say thank you. First, I'm pretty certain I read that Central High School improved its grade by how much again?
You're going to ask me that.
Well,
We were looking
it was
at
a lot.
It was.
We're going to go with the technical term. It was a lot. It surprised people across the state, but not us, because we knew that they were working hard. So great news for that. Great news for the Salem Kaiser schools. West Salem marching band not only won regional, but they went down to California and actually won a contest against bands from other countries, other places. It's phenomenal what's going on at that school. For both Chemeketa and Western Oregon, not only do we have a place where literally we have the two presidents that work together, talk together, don't throw things at each other, don't yell at each other like in other parts around the state, but they actually have two of the best student veteran programs in the state. It's an amazing work that's going on right now. And as a teacher at Chemeketa, I have to tell you that the good news story I see in the classrooms, though certainly there are days I wished subject knowledge was a little higher, the one thing that gives me hope every day is that we have the most multicultural, most diverse, most willing to work together cohort of students I've ever seen in my life. And sometimes these days it's real easy to get frustrated and think, well, gee, many Christmas, how are we going to be able to pull America onto the right path? You spend some time with some of the folks that are there every day, and I believe that in terms of the real strength of diversity, it is found in the relationships that you find in the classroom throughout this area, and that the willingness to work together, the investment they have in each other's lives, and though we have much work to do, the passion of the students still actually gives us hope. So I think that's a good news story. So thank you all for coming out, especially those of you. I know that some teachers required you to come, so I appreciate that. But for the folks that came out on an otherwise chilly evening in November, thank you very much for being a part of this. And if you have more questions, we're going to be around afterwards if you want to do some individual questions. Thank you again, President Fuller, Mrs. Fuller, for your Polk Salad TV program that actually brings the community together. And thanks to the panel again, if we give them a round of applause, we appreciate it. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you.